Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Dren608. This is Unconditional Surrender in Europe, published by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. We are going to be picking up in the middle of the July 1940 turn. This is the Germans Go East First campaign. So we will go over and we will be starting off with the East Invaded event, since that just happened. So you're going to see here's my stack of 5 units in an airplane with 4 sorties on it. And I place the airplane back for defense. Unit goes into Veliluki, Smolensk, Bryansk, Kharkov, and Depnostric. Then you'll see me, I think we're going to be doing things on the turn track next. So you'll see I've got my Lend-Lease markers are in July of 1941. Policy evaluation goes into August of 41. That's when the West can start rolling. January 41 is when I get a whole bunch more counters to build, as you can see there. And then because I got no, I have no seeded areas. For each seeded area in the conditional box, I get 1 army, so 6 more armies went into the eliminated. I had lost 4 armies to the German attack, and now I have 6 more that I can build as well, so I have 10 in my eliminated box. Can't build those till next turn. The Russian winter will happen here in December of 1940. My partisans come in, what is it, 6 turns and 18 turns. Factory loss marker, of course, goes, we both are going to be suffering from factory loss issues. And then my surprise attack markers come in, since it's 1940, it's 3 years later, so that'll be January of 43, January of 44. And then my Urals factories start coming in August. So then after that's done, we go into the actual Western operations phase. Now that the policy marker is on the turn track, I believe... Oh, I didn't bother to do anything with the West. I could have gone ahead and started moving in the BEF and stuff into France, but I don't think I bothered quite yet. Because it's going to be a while since the Germans are going to decide to attack into the West. So I'll get back over to the east here, and I believe we're going to see a Russian retreat. What I'm trying to get to here is that it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. The most I'm trying to give him is 1, maybe 2 attacks on any given unit. And then this is my cutesy trick. He neglected to have zones of control on the 51st. He was trying to prevent it from retreating back into Russia. So I said, rather than retreat, let's advance. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I'm threatening to possibly mess up his supply lines to the southern armies. If he does nothing about this army, he can run up and capture Brest, or maybe even run all the way to Warsaw. And with the Soviet control of those 2 cities, the rail junctions all run through there, so he's got to do something about it, otherwise his armies will be cut out of supply. And then that was basically my turn. I'm done. Went into low supply. Showed him my zones of control that would cut off rail lines to the south, so he's got to establish them going through the north. And we went into no supply phase. No big deal. Replacements. Kind of obvious what the Germans are going to do here. Puts down his airplanes in the east. The west replenished their fleet. And I think I also why didn't I do that airplane? I don't know what I'm doing here. So the Russians go ahead and move, go back over and are going to bring down their airplanes, I believe, as well. There are no upgrades. Mobilization. Mobilization. And now we're to the diplomacy phase, so I'll bring up the cup. Now you'll see that it's back to its normal configuration. The axis goes and pulls, and they get a pro-axis marker. They're like, yay! So that will... when he conquered Hungary, he took out the pro marker for the Russians in Romania. And now that he pulled a pro marker, he's going to go ahead and put it in Bucharest. So then the West went and pulled, and we got the pro marker too, but it's Axis. But at least that's one less, success for the Germans. We're trying to thin the cup out there a bit. And the Soviets went ahead and pulled. They were trying to get one of those things too. And they didn't, but they got a no event, so... went to end of turn phase. Not sure. Oh, stuff's going to happen here. Faction card. National tracks. Yeah, the extra factories. So Russia gets a factory back for its factory loss marker, so it's going to stay at 18 next turn. And then that moves 2 turns out on the turn track. So it's out there in September. Or October. We get back our tanks markers. The Germans get back ground support and their airdrop marker. And the turn moves to August of 1940. We know what the weather's going to be. It's all fair. The Axis. This was, I believe, a mistake on his part in that he thought by attacking into Lithuania that he was going to be able to put a pro marker in Finland. And I just thought he was trying to deny the Russians any factories later in the war. So I didn't think to point it out to him. And unfortunately, it wasn't until after he had made his attacks and tried to do this thing. Now we're setting our economies. It's no big deal. And then we're into... Where are we at? Oh, I think he was just looking for cities. Western... Soviets. Now we're into strategic warfare. The Soviets, if you look at the faction card, should be at +2. The Germans do have an airplane over here in Norway. Yimini kaka. Stuff's in the way. They do have an airplane in Stavanger, so that's on Sea Zone 3, so they get a +1 for that. And then we go rolling dice. He also plays a submarine event right away. So he gets a grand total of 5. I had 6 + 2, which is 8, but I have mine because of the submarine, so I'm only at 4 net. And so And then he rolled, it came in 4 more turns, you'll see a submarine. But nothing happened as far as factories go. So now we get to strategic movement. I'm not sure what he did here. Oh, he moved an infantry unit to the south, thinking that he was going to need to take on Greece or Bulgaria, thinking the Turks were going to, if something happens. That was the guy that was in Hungary, so he wasn't part of the Eastern offensive anyway. And I moved this army that was under this airplane. I said, no reason to sit out here and just die. So I moved him down to protect the one of the crossings of the Dnieper to the south towards Sevastopol, forcing him to stretch his line as much as possible because he's unit deficient as far as keeping a line. Again, that we have 2 first garrisons for the Germans out on the board, which shouldn't be. I moved all my eliminated box into my mobilization. We forgot to do that at the end of the turn last turn. Strategic movement for the west, strategic movement for the... And then we're into Axis operations. So he has the 4th Army move in to blow up the Lithuanians. I'm at -2. Setting his movement points, it was 1, 2, 3. It was 4 to there. He should have actually had 4 movement points left, I think. Or maybe he came from further north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he was 1 over. So he managed to roll a 1. I rolled a 2. So then he went ahead and attacked the second time, running his airplane up sorties, which is what I wanted to see. So now he's 3 plus 3 is a 6, and I'm 6 minus 2 is a 4. Again, it's a garrison unit, so even if we're playing last stand, it would die, and he still could take the city. So he does, and then we go. He gets another 2 willpower. Goes into his conquered countries. Oh, this was me. This is something I've taken to doing. You might want to think about doing this. Setting the control marker at the beginning of each turn to whatever your current will is. And that way, at the end of the turn, you can contra dead units in cities that he's taken and make sure that you haven't missed any will losses. Found it to be very, very helpful in Russia. Especially. That's the special place to do it. So, he moved a garrison into the conditional events. Oh, that's him putting in his pro marker into the diplomacy cup, and then this is where he was like, "Oh, I can't put it up in Finland," so he put a pro marker in Estonia or Latvia rather, because that's the only thing adjacent. And I didn't have any pro markers anywhere for him to take off. I didn't have like something in Italy or not Italy, but in Spain or something. So with no pro markers to take off, he was kind of stuck. And now he's going to go run the Russians, go chase the Russians down. So he made my airplane move. I tried to move his infantry with me. So still had 6 movement points left. Moves up to there, and then attacks Smolensk. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. He shouldn't have 3 movement points left. Sent my fighter in because I figured he was going to just fly up and shoot it down anyway. I'd use it for defense. So it's +1 to +2. He rolled a 4. I rolled a 5 net, so that didn't work. Put myself back down to 0. And next he's bringing up his Panzer. Not sure where this Panzer is going. Oh, he went to Veliki. So he starts off at +3. I'm at 0. I play a tanks marker. 3, 4, 5. He was outside of range of his airplanes. So he's a 5 + 3 is an 8. I'm a 4, so I'm retreated. At least I wasn't flipped. And he's like, huh, okay. Can't do much else with him, so then he brings... then he starts doing things in the south here a little bit. He moved into Kiev, made me fly my airplane. I flew it back down to Sevastopol. Because again, that kind of dilutes his air power. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 3 movement points left. Sitting in cities. So he decides to attack one of them. Or did he? Okay. I guess he didn't. It's me adjusting my willpower because he took Odessa. I think he spent most of his time just running around taking cities here in the south. Then he moved back to get rid of this stupid low supply guy. He had a +3 because he threw in an airplane, I guess. Oh no, he's a 3 + 1, so he's a 4. What the heck is going on? I don't know what the heck that was. I'm really confused. But he did get me retreated. So took back that city. And he kept going. I guess we're in combat commitment. That's what I'm seeing here. We're not committing here. This is not the place to waste resources. He rolled a grand total of 4. I ended up with a 1, so I retreated again. And then he moved out of that city because now he's got his supply line, and then I think he comes after me with somebody else. Yeah, the garrison unit moves up to attack me. He's at 0, I'm at -2. We're officially in combat commitment. I did not commit, but he did. So he went ahead and used an airplane that was back here. He figured he had to get rid of this army somehow. Ended up with a grand total of 7. And we did that wrong. Oh well. I think we saw the 3 and forgot that I was -2. now we're combat commitment again. 4 minus 2 is 2 to 1. This Panzer at rolling up to the north using rail lines to cross rivers. Ended up at +3 because of the swamp. I'm at 0. Commitment. I don't know why we went to combat commitment because he didn't have an airplane in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't know what we were thinking. But did throw my tanks marker here. So he ended up with a net 6. I had a 3, so that forced me to retreat. And that ended his armor's excursions. I'm not sure, but I think he moves some infantry up to try and do some stuff, and then he does an attack in the south of Kursk, is that? Oh no, rail line in front of Kharkov, that's where he's at. I think we're in combat commitment. I don't know why his didn't come up unhidden there. He basically, I know I threw in an airplane here from like Sevastopol. And he didn't. I'm really confused. It didn't amount to anything. He didn't get anywhere with it. Yeah, he was 3 plus 2 and I was 6 plus 2. So that made him a 5 and me an 8, which was an AS, so he didn't get any extra attacks off. And then he went around, I think he went moving, going up to get Trondheim, and then he'll end up going up by Narvik in a little bit. And then he's got the Yugoslavs. He starts marching through conquered Hungary to help contain that Russian 51st. And he's keeping this infantry supplied so he can get a lot done in a hurry. But not the airplane because it doesn't need to be in supply to give him the +1. And the British go and just supply themselves. I don't know why I didn't move the BEF into France right away. I guess I was just being lazy. I know I got it there sooner or later. Okay, so we've got the USSR is running again. I managed to not lose any units this turn in the August attack turn, so falling back seemed to work for a fair weather turn. So I'm, having lost 4 in the first turn, now in 2 fair weather turns I'll be down to an average of 2 a turn, which I think is pretty good. So I'm just backing the heck up. And that's like all I did, because I knew I was going to have units to build. And I took my factory count down to 8 because he had captured Kiev. Double checking my willpower. Yeah, he had taken 2, 4. Six, because he took Odessa as well. So I went from 39 down to 33. It's scary for the Russians to be at 33 in the first year of the invasion. It's just not. This was me just putting the convoy out so he didn't think anything was actually loaded in that on it. We went to the no supply phase. And then the 51st Army, because he was marked as low supply at the end of my turn, or no supply, he's allowed to be removed, and I don't lose a willpower for him, which was the whole idea, was if he didn't kill me, I would be able to do that. And I'm not sure, but I think we messed up on one of the combat die rolls there. At least it looked like it to me. The British reset themselves. And I think you got the Soviets resetting their airplanes. No upgrades. And they built the second first garrison army for the Germans. I don't think we ever caught this. I think he's got 8 garrison armies out there, and he should only have 7. So then I picked up like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I picked up 6 of my units for production purposes. And that's basically all I had left when I got done doing the aircraft. So I'm placing them. I'm not even. Oh, I guess I'm building 7. So in Moscow and in Zev, or whatever this, however you pronounce that, where the airplane is. One in Orel, one in Kursk, one in Rostov, one in whatever, Bologoya, and Kalinin and Tula. I wanted to make sure I had somebody in the fort, and that was my mobilization. We went to diplomacy, pull that up again, and the Germans pulled a no event, and I think the West pulled and got the another pro-axis marker, so we're diluting the cup somewhat. And then the Soviets couldn't do anything in their phase. I don't have to worry about victory check, and then we're doing moving stuff into the faction card for September, which I think is just Russian support markers. And then we got to the end of the turn phase and we said, enough, we will stop here. That's the end of July of 1940. So, or August, I guess, because we will pick up in September in the next episode. So we got the last half of July and all of August in. I know he's going to have one more, for sure, fair weather turn. Yes, I'm kind of sacrificing Smolensk, possibly even Bryansk. The way I look at it, the most I really see him doing is capturing Depnovstrik, Bryansk, Smolensk. He might kill all 3 of those armies. But if I get through 3 turns with only losing 7 armies, I would be very, very happy as the Russians. I am giving up a lot of ground. I almost thought about just running away from Smolensk. And I'm not sure if I don't do that in the strategic move phase anyway, and just put him back in like the forest around Moscow. Because his armor is so far north, I'm much more confident with these stacked situations down here in Ukraine and going on to Kursk, Orel, and Kharkov. If the armor was down here, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be back farther, almost on the Don probably, because it's nigh impossible to stop the armor from just blowing through all those clear terrain hexes. But he's got his armor up here trying to deal with the rough terrain issues that gives him an extra +1, so he's like +3 to my zeros, but it also slows him down in that he can't have quite as many attacks. So, trade-off, I guess. Everybody has their own way of trying to collapse Russia. So, anyway, that's the end of the Aug40 turn. I'm Jun608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Press that like button. For whatever reason, YouTube keeps track of who likes things and who subscribes, and some kind of algorithm involves it. I don't have nearly enough subscribers to make any money off of this, so I'm doing this just because I want to have this stuff out there for the world to look at and tell me everything I'm doing wrong. I learn a lot when I get comments from people saying, well, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? For myself, I'm sitting here saying, why haven't I moved the BEF into France already and just, got around to setting up the defensive lines? And all I can think of is that, a little bit of a time crunch, and it's like I got plenty of time, so I'll do it later. And I really should have myself all set up to do this, like, right now. But I don't. So, there you have it. We'll be back with the September 1940 turn in the next episode. Until then, everybody stay safe, and bye-bye.